Good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all on my YouTube channel. Marish, walaikum assalam. Princess Adhu, walaikum assalam. Afshana, walaikum assalam. How are you all? Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam. Shahid, walaikum assalam. Nazir, walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam. Walaikum assalam. Let's wait for a minute more, then we'll start. Ishrat Ali, walaikum assalam. Aman, walaikum assalam. Sumaira, walaikum assalam. Malik Rabia, walaikum assalam. Pare Yasin, walaikum assalam. फरहत भट्ट, वालेकुम अस्सलाम. मोहम्मद अमीन, ठीक हूँ मैं, आप ठीक है? भट्ट ताहिर, वालेकुम अस्सलाम. बुरहान मीर, आई एम फाइन, हाउ आर यू? So 20 more seconds, then we'll start. Uwais Shirwani, walaikum assalam. Nasir, there might be, there will be 2 or 3 EVS classes, so you can change your timing accordingly. So let's start our topic for today. You'll open page number 95 of your textbook. Today we'll finish the text, then I'll summarize some important points for you. One day I was coming home after grazing the pigs. So this is Omprakash Valmiki who is talking. One day I was coming home after grazing the pigs. On the way home I met Sukhan Singh. Sukhan Singh, as we know, was a fellow student in his school who stopped me and asked, "Why have you stopped coming to school?" Obviously because, after the death of his elder brother Sukhbir Singh, the problems within the family had, increased. And then this Valmiki, Omprakash Valmiki, he had stopped going to school. So this Sukhan Singh, who was his fellow student in the school, he meets him and asks him, "Why have you stopped coming to school? Aren't you going to study further?" I shook my head in refusal. He kept talking a long time about the new atmosphere of the school. Now it had desks and chairs, whereas before we used to sit on mats. The teachers also did not beat the students as much, and there was a separate teacher for each subject. So while having a conversation with Sukhan Singh informed him about the changed conditions in the school. The school had now chairs, the students were no longer asked to sit on mats, and there were separate teachers for each subject. And more importantly, the teachers, they had stopped beating the students. So that was a drastic change that had happened in the school. I returned home with a sad heart. There was something bubbling inside me. Now because, he had met Sukhan Singh, and obviously this writer of ours, he was interested in going school. So there was this sadness within him. My inability to go to school had made me hopeless. The majestic building of the inter-college was constantly before my eyes. As soon as I returned home, I said to my mother, "Ma, I want to go to school." There were tears in my eyes. He wanted to desperately go to school. Seeing my tears, my mother also started to cry. So there was an emotional scene between the mother and the son. When Ma cried, her complaints and grudges would be recounted in a loud voice. She would do it in a loud voice that brought forth all the neighborhood women who would surround her. So with this loud noise, all the women in the neighborhood, they would surround his mother. The harder they tried to console Ma, the harder Ma wept. Babi was crying too, sitting all by herself. My brother's death had caused a wedge between her and the rest of the family. After the death of his brother, elder brother, his Barbie, she would be very sad, and it had created a deep gulf between her and the family. As something that could be called uh, something that could be called jewelry, Barbie had a silver anklet. She had only a silver anklet as far as her ornaments were concerned, that she kept with great care with her wedding outfits. Ma was crying as loudly as ever. Barbie opened her tin box, took out the anklet, and put it in Ma's hand. That was a great gesture from his Barbie. Sell it and get Lalaji admitted. And what she said, sell it and get Omprakash Valmiki admitted in the school. All the women were overwhelmed by her affectionate gesture. I embraced Barbie and cried at that moment. I missed my mother deeply. Sorry, I missed my brother deeply. The memory of that day still continues to empower me. So that was a great gesture from his Barbie by telling him to sell the anklet. That showed the clean heart of his Barbie. Pitaji had tried very hard to dissuade means to convince Barbie, no Bahu, don't sell it. I will arrange somehow to send him to school. Don't you worry. You have just the one ornament. How can we sell that too? Go on, keep it. So Pitaji, he was against it because he knew that she had only a single ornament. But Barbie wouldn't listen to him and insisted on putting it in Ma's hand. But Barbie should not listen, and she kept on insisting that you sell it and get Om Prakash Valmiki admitted in the school. Vaidya Satyanarayana Sharma used pawn. Pawn means to a security for a loan, and buy gold and silver ornaments and act as moneylender apart from his regular job as the village priest. Ma pawned the ankle with him, and thus I was admitted to class 6. So, with Vaidya Satyanarayana Sharma, his mother, she pawned this anklet which was given to her by the Barbie, and thus Om Prakash Valmiki, he was admitted in class 6. So that was a great sacrifice from the Barbie. Ram Singh and Sukhan Singh were in a different section. Now their sections were changed. Ram Singh and Sukhan Singh, who used to be great friends of Om Prakash Valmiki and who used to be in the same class, their sections were now changed. My roll number was right at the end, and therefore I sat in the last row. Shravan Kumar Sharma sat in the next seat. Although we had been studying together since class 1, now we became really close because of our sitting together. Now we became friends with Shravan Kumar Sharma also. Shravan Kumar was handsome and very attractive, delicate like a girl. Caste never came between us. This was a unique experience for me. Shravan Kumar was from a higher caste, but then they became friends instead of him being from the higher caste. This was a unique experience for me. Ram Singh and Sukhan Singh were also my classmates, but Sukhan Singh never came to my house. I would often go to his house. We sat together, studied together. Later on, we also developed relationships at the family level. Today, his older son, Rajneesh, treats me and my wife with a great deal of respect. Perhaps Sukhan Singh was a little remote, unlike Shravan Kumar. Then we became friends with a third person. Now, this is a very important phase in his life. He became friends with Chandrapal. His name was Chandrapal Verma, and he came from village Mandla. He was a Gujjar by caste. He used to bother Shravan Kumar a lot. Sometimes he would pinch his cheeks, and sometimes he would push him because he was very beautiful. So Chandrapal Verma, he would do these naughty things with him. Sometimes he would hide his books. These were daily occurrences. One day, as we were coming out of the classroom, he gripped Shravan Kumar tightly and he bit him on his cheek. The whole class saw him to do it, but no one said a word. Everyone was laughing loudly. Shravan Kumar began to cry. Chandrapal Verma was also laughing. I don't know what happened to me at that moment, but I grabbed Chandrapal's neck and pushed him down, even though he was twice my height and weight. Chandrapal, he was twice the height and weight of Om Prakash Valmiki, and he used to do these naughty things with Shravan Kumar. But on this day, he became very angry, Om Prakash Valmiki, seeing him doing these things with Shravan Kumar. Chandrapal kept squirming. Squirming means twisting, to free his neck, but I did not let go of him. Chandrapal did not get angry with me, but kept laughing But he had a good sense of humor, Chandrapal, and he kept on laughing. Later, he also begged forgiveness from Shravan Kumar. So that was a little incident. The three of us had become good friends. Shravan Kumar, Omprakash Valmiki, and Chandrapal Verma. They had become good friends. And one advantage with Chandrapal Verma was that he was very fit, he was healthy, and he was twice the height. So all the fellow students they would be fearful of him. After school, Shravan Kumar and I did not return via the main road. We walked home through the fields and the footpaths. This became a regular routine of ours. So they used to enjoy their time being together. The effect of my friendship with Chandrapal had become instantly visible. I had been released from the taunts, so nobody would make fun of him anymore. I had been released from taunts and hectorings. Hectorings means threatenings of the Tyagi boys. Now I did not have to stand waiting near the tap for a drink of water. They all lost their tongues when Chandrapal was found. So everyone was fearful of Chandrapal. So that gave an advantage to Om Prakash Valmiki. He now started to enjoy his stay at school. He could hit anyone he wanted, even otherwise. The Tyagi boys were afraid of the Gujar boys. So he could, because of his health, he would hit anyone. So Tyagis were afraid of him. And even though Tyagis were also afraid of the Gujar boys. I had stood first in my section in the half-yearly exam. My result bolstered my self-confidence. It reinforced his self-confidence. Now an important development took place in his life. I was made the class monitor after the examination and my seat was moved from back of the class to the front. Now because he used to sit at the back of the class, now he had secured good marks, his results were good, he was made monitor of the class. Om Prakash Valmiki, he was made to sit in the front of the class. The behavior of some teachers, however, was still unfriendly. But the behavior of teachers, it still remained unfriendly. But everything else changed. He now had good friends. There was no taunts. There was no hectorings from the Tyagi boys because of his being friends with Chandrapal Verma. The behavior of some teachers, however, was still unfriendly. They were indifferent and contemptuous of me. Contemptuous means showing lack of respect. Teachers, their nature in that school was still the same. They were disrespectful towards Om Prakash Valmiki. So this translation was done by Arun Prabha Mukherjee. So with this we have finished the text. Now I'll quickly talk about 10 points that will summarize the whole extract for you. So I'll give you 10 important points from this extract. First, when this essay starts, we are given the description of the family and the locality. The family of Om Prakash Valmiki, they had 5 brothers and a sister, Babi, etc. And then we are given the description of the locality, how the locality was. So the locality, it was really poor. There were Dalits living there, and opposite to Dalits were Tyagis. So Tyagis, they would be from the higher caste, and Dalits, they belong to the lowest strata of the society. So Om Prakash Valmiki at the outset, he gives us the description and tells us that it was really hard for them to live in that kind of atmosphere, which was unhygienic, and there was poverty everywhere around. So the second point is then Om Prakash Valmiki is admitted to the school, and then in the school we have all these things, how he was disrespected, how their community was disrespected, and Om Prakash Valmiki in a sense becomes a symbol of their community. They were targeted, they were discriminated, so they were not treated as humans. So there was no identity for them. Their identity was that they would be considered inferior citizens. So point number second is when he is admitted to the school, and we are told about the sufferings of Om Prakash Valmiki in the school. Then we are told about how Om Prakash Valmiki was made to sweep the school for 3 continuous days. He was made to sweep only because his father's profession was of sweeping. Then we are shown how father, he passed by the school and witnessed his son sweeping the school, and that moment it changed the life of Om Prakash Valmiki. He was thrown out of the school. Then the father, he played a great role in readmitting his son to the school. He fought with the headmaster. He challenged him that my son, he will study in the same school. Then he went to different Tyagi households. They were not cooperative. He went to the Pradhan ultimately, who made it possible for him that he was readmitted in the school. Then we are told about the harvest season, how Tyagis, they would hire these people from the Dalits, okay, but they were not paid the wages. They would do a lot of hard work, but their wages, they were minimum. They had to protest to get their wages. Then we have this incident of Sukhdev Singh Tyagi and the mother of Om Prakash Valmiki. So they would do all the arrangement for Sukhdev Singh Tyagi's daughter, but ultimately they were not given the food. They were not given the food at all. And on that day, Omprakash Valmiki's mother, she had a confrontation with Sukhdev Singh Tyagi. And that also left a great impression on the mind of Omprakash Valmiki. Then we are told about the death of Omprakash Valmiki's elder brother, Sukhbir, and the problems after the death of his elder brother. Then we have as we discussed today, role of Babi in readmitting Valmiki to school, and then all the atmosphere of the school that has changed, and his friendship with Chandrapal. So overall, if we get a crux of this story, we are shown the sad plight of Dalits. We are shown how dirty the caste system is in India. We are shown how these people from the Dalit community, they are discriminated. Om Prakash Valmiki, in a way, becomes a voice for his whole community. He becomes a voice to uplift his own community. And then, overall, at present, if we look at the situation, it has changed, but there are still problems within the society. Within the society, there are still a fraction of people who still believe that we should discriminate on the basis of caste, but that should not really happen. It is not a good thing. We should all feel like we are equal. Humanity should come first, and we should respect each human being. We should respect his identity, irrespective of religion, caste, color, creed, etc. So that was the summarizing of it. So you can note that down. Now we'll discuss some important questions, and then we will move on to the multiple choice questions. So if you can look at page number 97, we have some subjective questions here. What impression have you formed of Valmiki's parents from the given extract? So the impression that we have formed is that they were very supportive. They wanted Om Prakash Valmiki to study. They wanted him to be an educated person. They wanted him to not indulge like them in the profession of sweeping. They were very brave. We can see their bravery in the fact that Valmiki's father, he had a confrontation with the headmaster. Valmiki's mother, she had a confrontation with Sukhdev Singh Tyagi. So all these things, and at the end, Valmiki's mother, she also was interested in admitting Valmiki to the school. So overall, we can say that Valmiki's parents, they were cooperative. They had a great vision. They wanted their son to study. So question number 2, discuss Valmiki's experience with his teachers at the primary school in the light of ridiculing of the stereotypical notion of a teacher as a great guru. Now, if we look at the plight of Valmiki in the school, it was not very good. He was ridiculed, he was discriminated, and the notion of a great guru, a great teacher, we didn't see anything like that in this extract. So the teachers there, they discriminated on the basis of caste. Valmiki was discriminated, he was targeted because of him being from a Dalit community. He was made to sweep. So this notion of a great guru that we have in mind, that teacher is a great guru, we don't see anything like that in this extract. The teachers in his school, even after the situation had changed in the school, they were still contemptuous, as we are told at the end of the extract, that they were indifferent and contemptuous of me. That's what Valmiki says. So overall, this notion of a teacher being a great guru, that is being debunked in the essay. Sorry, in the extract. Then we have question number 3. Critically comment on the title of the novel as a poignant corroboration of the treatment of Dalits at the hands of the upper caste. Now, if we look at the title of the essay, it is Joothan. As we had already discussed, that Joothan, it is the scraps of food, which we usually throw out in the dustbin. But these scraps of food, these leftover food, it was, given to Dalits. It was given to them, and they would cherish eating it. So if we look at the title and then at the extract, we can say that they were treated like Joothan. It was like they were treated as objects. They were treated as leftover food. There was no identity for them. There was no respect for them. Overall, in this extract, we can witness that there are various incidents where we can feel that yes, they were not given due respect. They were treated like a leftover food is treated. Now, question number 4, describe in detail those instances in the extract where Dalits are seen to be asserting their pride and identity. We have two main incidents in the extract wherein we can clearly say that these are the incidents where Dalits have asserted their pride and identity. They have asserted their pride and dignity. One instance is when Valmiki's father, he has a confrontation with the headmaster of the school. The headmaster, he had made Valmiki's son sweep the school for 3 continuous days, and then this Valmiki's father, he has a confrontation and he challenges him that my son, he will study in the same school. That was the first instance where they assert their pride and dignity. Second instance is when Valmiki's mother, she has a confrontation with Sukhdev Singh Tyagi. Sukhdev Singh Tyagi, belonging from the upper caste, he ridiculed his mother, the mother of Omprakash Valmiki. But then she gave it back. She confronted back and she threw whole of the food, the Joothan. Okay, she threw it away and then went away and never returned to the same household. So these are the two important instances where these Dalits, they have shown their pride and they have asserted their pride and dignity. So I hope it is clear till now. Is it? Comment quickly. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Now let's move on to the multiple choice questions. So question number 1, which of these structures was not next to Valmiki's childhood? Which of these structures was not next to Valmiki's childhood house? A pond, a cowshed, a lake, brick walls. Now quickly answer this. Which of these structures was not next to Valmiki's childhood house? There was a pond, there was a cowshed, there were brick walls, but I think there was no lake. Can you see from the text? Yes, I think lake is the right answer. There was no lake, there was a pond, there was cowshed, and there were brick walls of these Tyagi households, but there was no lake. So lake is the correct answer. Now question number 2, how many brothers does Valmiki have? How many brothers? 2, 3, 4 or 5? Answer quickly. Yes, Seeraj, there is no lake. Now, question number 2. Answer quickly. How many brothers does Valmiki have? 2, 3, 4, or 5? Mir Fiza 5. Yes, 5 is the correct answer. Shahid Khan 5. 5 is the correct answer. Yes, Sirat 5. No, no, no. Sirat is wrong. We have 5. 5 is the correct answer. Valmiki has 5 brothers. Now let's move on to question number 3. Out of Valmiki's family, who were sent to Sevak Ram Masihi to learn reading and writing? Sevak Ram Masihi was a Christian, and his reference is given at the beginning of the extract. So out of Valmiki's family, who was or were sent to Sevak Ram Masihi to learn reading and writing? Only Valmiki, Valmiki and his sister, all the children, only the boys. Answer quickly. Who was sent to study at Sevak Ram Masihis? Yes, A is the right answer, Malik Rabia. Only Valmiki. Only Valmiki. Mir Fiza is also correct. Zainab Hassan is also correct. Sirat Mir is correct. Only Valmiki. So question number 3, A part is the right answer. So let's move on to question number 4. Of the following, which is true of Sukhan Singh as well as the narrator? Both were untouchables, both were in the same class, both were good at studies, all of the above. So what is true of Sukhan Singh and Valmiki? Sukhan Singh obviously was the friend of Valmiki. So both were untouchables, both were in the same class, both were good at studies, all of the above. What is the right answer? What is the right answer for question number 4? All of the above. Yes, Zainab Hassan is right. Sahil is right. Malik Rabia is Snow Barwani, all of the above. Yes, all of the above is because they were untouchables. They were in the same class. That's also correct. Both were good at studies. So all of the above is the right answer. All of the above for question number 4. Now question number 5. How long did the headmaster Kaliram make Omprakash Valmiki sweep the playground? 1 day, 1 week, 3 days, 3 weeks. How long did Headmaster Kaliram made Om Prakash Valmiki sweep? Kausar Samad, 3 days. Yes. Andaz Farooq, 3 days. Zainab Hassan C. Malik Rabia, 3 days. Mehroz Saeed, 3 days. Misbah Manzoor, 3 days. Mahvi, 3 days. Shaista Ali C. Yes, 3 days is the correct answer. That was the easiest question, by the way. Question number 6. Yes, Lucky Shahid, 3 days. Snowber, 3 days, yes. During harvest time, the laborers from the untouchable castes were given their due wages, would protest against their miserly wages, would gladly accept whatever was given to them, none of the above. This is a bit tricky, so answer this. During the harvest time, the laborers from the untouchable castes were given their due wages, would protest against their miserly wages, would gladly accept whatever was given to them, none of the above. What is the right answer? Shahid Khan 2, okay. Rashid Bashir C. C is not the right answer. Rabia D. D is not the right answer. Ove Sherwani B. B is the right answer. Misbah Manzoor B is the right answer. Zubair Khan D. No, it's not the right answer. Arhan Ahmad B. Shaista Ali B. Ishrat Ali B. Yes, B is the right answer. They would protest a little and then they would accept the things. So B for us is the right answer. Now, yes, B. Now, question number 7. Surendra's Surendra's compliment on the delicious food served by Valmiki's wife angered her, deeply disturbed her, made her happy, none of the above. So once when Surendra, he belonged to the higher caste, he came to Valmiki's house and his wife cooked some delicious food for him. So after giving the compliment, what was the reaction of Valmiki's wife? She was angered her, deeply disturbed her, made her happy, none of the above. Malik Rabia C, Mehruz Said C, Sirat Mir C, Arbaz Amin C, Ishrat Ali C. Yes, C is the right answer. Made her happy. Yes. It made her happy. C is the right answer. Mir Fiza, yes, C is the right answer. Kausar Samad C, yes, C is the right answer. Question number 8. At the wedding of Sukhdev Singh Tyagi's daughter, Valmiki's mother was not invited, asserted her dignity by emptying the food basket in front of Sukhdev, was treated kindly by Sukhdev Singh, meekly left after being humiliated. Remember, this is the instance where Sukhdev Singh Tyagi's daughter was to be married and Valmiki's mother had a confrontation with Sukhdev Singh Tyagi. So what is the right answer? Mir Fiza B asserted her dignity by emptying the food baskets in front of Sukhdev. B. Uzma Khan D. No, D is not the right answer. B is the right answer. As we already discussed, this was also the instance where Valmiki's mother, she asserted her pride and dignity by emptying the food baskets. So for this question, question number 8, B is the right answer. Now, question number 9. Which of the following was true of Sukhbir? Sukhbir is the elder brother of Omprakash Valmiki. So which of the following was true of Sukhbir? He had 2 sons. He died of a wound caused by a wild boar. He had bought a buffalo for his family. D, both A and C. So what is correct? Sukhbir, he was the elder brother of Omprakash Valmiki. Look, he had 2 sons. Yes, this is correct. He died of a wound caused by a wild boar. This is not correct. He had bought a buffalo for his family. This is also correct. So D is the right answer. D, Andaz Farooq D, Shaista Ali D, Arbaz D, Lucky Shahid D, Sharik D. Yes, D is the right answer. Both A and C. Yes. Rashid Bashir D, Gul Shabroza D. Yes, Mir Fiza D. D is the right answer. Both A and C. Now question number 10. Nighat Arif D. Yes, D is the right answer. What were some of the changes that had taken place at the inter college? Students no longer sat on mats. Teachers beat the students regularly. There were separate teachers for separate subjects, both A and C. When he was readmitted in inter college, there were some changes that had taken place. And what were those changes? I think students no longer sat on mats. This is correct. Teachers beat the students regularly. There were separate teachers for separate subjects. Yes, this is also correct. So D part, both A and C is the right answer. Yes. Yes, Zainab Hassan D, both A and C. Nasir Khan D. Yes, Muhammad Yamin D. Sahil Khan A and C. D, A and C. Mir Fiza D. Yes, D is the right answer. Kausar Samad A and C. Thokar Mehvi both A and Arbaz Amin A and D. Yes, A and D. Sorry, A and C. The last part D for question number 10 is the right answer. Now let's move on to question number 11. Who emerged as a heroic figure from the story? Valmiki's mother, Valmiki's sister-in-law, both A and B, none of the above. Who emerged as a heroic figure from the story? Valmiki's mother, sister-in-law, both A and B, none of the above. Muhammad Yamin C, Uzma Khan A, What about sister-in-law? It was she who sells her anklet at the end of the story. Maybe A and B. Yes. C part is the right answer. Omprakash Valmiki's mother as well as sister-in-law, दोनों जो है, they are the heroic figures in the story. So both A and B is the right answer. For question number 11, part C, both A and B is the right answer. Now the last question. After reading the extract, which emotions can you associate with the narrator? Anger, scorn, frustration, all of the above. So all of these are emotions. So which emotions do you attribute to Om Prakash Valmiki after reading the complete story? Anger, scorn, frustration, all of the above. Arhan Ahmad Muhammad Yamin D. D. Malik Rabia D. Yes. We see Om Prakash Valmiki at times he is angered, at times he is full of scorn, at times he is frustrated. So all of the above is the right answer. For question number 12, all of the above is the right answer. Yes. Ganai Sharik D. Mustaqim Dar D. Anisa D. Gul Shabruza D. Lucky Shahid D. Yes, D is the right answer. D is the right answer. So, Kausar Summer D. Yes, D is the right answer. So, with this, we have finished your unit number 4, that is Joothan by Om Prakash Valmiki. If you have any doubts, if you have any suggestions, feel free to communicate in the WiseUp classroom. And I think we'll start our next unit, that is Diary of Annie Frank, from tomorrow. So for now, it's goodbye from me. Thank you very much.